Hello and welcome to the Corona Yoga Challenge. Today is 197 and sadly I do have to point out that we are now over 30,000 cases in 5 days, which puts us to the over 6,000 new cases a day, so it's looking like it's looking. So we're going to do some yoga. Make sure that you are checking my website so that you can adapt poses to really suit you, and subscribing if you would like to. We are on day 197, which means that there's 3 days left of this particular challenge, of the challenge for you to do yoga at home your way with some guidance, some support. And what happens next? I've not quite worked it out. I've got some plans, but I'm thinking of a range of things, so I'll keep you updated on that. But I think I'll wait until post day 200 to tell you a little bit more about what my next plans are. And I suppose at this stage I'm really just hoping that you have enjoyed getting quite a lot out of working out how you can do yoga for yourself, so that you can get used to that process of moving and adapting so that it suits you, and so that you can notice the benefits of that quiet space of being on your own doing yoga, as opposed to always having someone guiding, leading, directing. It can be in time really, really helpful to come to that inner place. So today we are going to start, she said, taking off her socks. Important process in yoga so that we have not got slippy feet. We are going to start by coming onto your back. So if you just bring yourself to lying down so that you need to change the angle. There we go. So bring yourself to lying onto your back, let your hands rest onto your knees, and you're going to let your knees rock gently from one side to the other side. So nice, smooth, easy movement over the lower back. And then you're going to flip your feet up as if they're going to go up to the ceiling. And you're going to keep a little bit of softness through the back of your legs to start with. You're going to let your hands come out to the side, shoulders relax down and wide. And you're going to make your feet a little bit more active so you can't see, but I'm starting to bring my toes towards me just a little bit. And then bring your knees down, give them a little cuddle in towards you. And then same thing, you're going to lift your feet up, let your arms come wide, toes come towards you, shoulders and the back of the body soften and widen on the floor. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of moving the legs to notice the movement that will maybe one day bring us towards shoulder stand. We're only going to do the very starting movement because I'm not with you and this is not an in-depth kind of video on shoulder stand. So arms are going to be nice and soft close beside you. You're just going to start by feet are bent in towards you, and then you flip them towards your face and then back. And all we're doing is noticing what happens when we do this. You're starting to notice maybe that little lift through the hips as you do it. And it might be that this is all that happens for you. But it's important that we're doing that. And then you can flip them a little bit further each time, so that eventually it feels quite natural to get that lift up of the back. And then just let it ease off again. And let your knees come in towards you. So just a little flavour of it, because I would prefer to go through it in better detail if we're going to go further than that. So just shoulders are sinking in towards you, you're drawing your knees in towards you, and then you're going to flip your feet up, you're going to take your arms around the back of your knees, and you're going to draw your knees close in towards your chest, but you're going to obviously have the knees quite bent here. So you're just letting the knees come in, and you're going to start to draw your toes towards you, so as if you're going to stand up and onto the ceiling. And the shoulders are spreading down and away and onto the floor. And ideally we've got a little bit of that length through the back of the waist, so we're not curved terribly like this through the spine. We're in a kind of more neutral position so that the tailbone gently can start to lengthen down towards the floor, so you might have just a little hint of a space at the back of your waist. And it might be that you start with a rounded back and that just comes through time because it's quite a stretch. You're going to bring your knees back down again, And then you're going to let both knees come over to one side, and you're going to support your head with your hand. Other hand's going to rest onto the side of your body, and you're going to ease out and open. So we're just easing into the open space, so gently spiraling around. You're going to bring yourself back onto your side. You can hold on to your knees, bring them up to the centre, and then all the way over to the opposite side. So again, hand is coming underneath your head, top hand rests onto your waist, and then the elbow extends back and you just open out. And you'll see I've got my head on top of my hand, so my head can just roll nice and comfortably. Take an easy breath. And then bring yourself onto your side. Knees come to the centre, hug them in for a moment. And then if you come round and into all fours. So from a nice comfortable all fours position, you're going to let your hips slide from one side to the other side, a little bit of stretching and easing out. Just noticing how your back would like to move to get that feeling of space and fluidity in the muscles and in the way that you can move. We're going to come up and into dog pose from here, so I'm just going to move this a tiny bit. So from all fours, if you bring yourself so that you've got just a little bit more space between your hands and your knees than you might normally. Sliding your hips forwards and back, and then as your hips come back, you're going to let your hips come back and up, so we come into that lovely lengthened out dog pose. We can get a feeling of lifting up through the tail, gently sinking down through the heels. And you're going to let your hips slide over to one side and then over to the other side. So as your hips come over to the left, pay attention into the left hand. As the hips come to the right, attention into the right hand. So we keep ourselves very, very stable through the hands. You can almost feel that easing out from one side to the other side through the side of the body as you do this. Bringing your weight back to even. You're going to walk your hands in towards your feet in towards your hands, your knees. Going to be soft. You're going to bend yourself forwards so that you can rest your elbows onto your thighs, so you can just fold forwards very easily. If your body is very, very happy to, you're welcome to have your hands lower down, but it's better to think about them coming onto the thighs so that we don't overstretch or go too far, particularly in a short little bit of video like this. From here, you're going to bend your knees, you're going to spread wide. You can come right down into a squat if you want, or you can keep your hips higher, but you can spread your hands wide, press into the feet, come all the way up and overhead, and then hands come down to your heart. And if you bring yourself to a comfortable standing position, what we're going to do today, you might want to take a little bit of support. Because what we're going to do is we're going to take one leg up, we're going to make contact with the opposite hand. So it might be that it stays close in towards you, it might be that you make contact with your knee. If you're happy to make contact with your hand, you're going to send it across your body, you're going to extend out through the opposite hand. So either your hand's going to be on the support, or if you're happy to free float, you can extend foot in one direction, hand out in the opposite direction. So get nice and active. And then bring your leg in, settle it down and onto the floor, come back to even feet. And then we're going to do the opposite side. So just make sure you've got your support if you would like it, because at least initially it's so important that we're safe and that we can get the feeling of opening out in the legs rather than just the balance. So either your knee is going to come up and towards you or your hand. You can start to extend your leg across your body, out through the hand. Breathe out, stay nice and steady, or find the wall or support. Bring your leg back in, settle your foot down and onto the floor. I'm going to come to your first side again. So this time when you're making contact with your foot, if you want to, take your hand to the outside, so you've got your fingers around the top of your foot, by going underneath. And then just again extending your leg out slowly, steadily, so you get that lovely feeling of stretching out through the leg and a real challenge for the supporting leg as well. And then come back to your breathing. Let the leg come in, settle the body down. Find even and settled. And then the opposite side. So turn yourself as around as you need. Hands coming onto the foot. Foot and legs start to extend out. Comes across your body, so we get that wrapping round through the tummy and the rib cage. We breathe out through the standing leg. Soften ourselves with that breath out. And then bring your leg back in. Settle it onto the floor. Even feet. Breathe out. Find that little quiet place for you. We're going to come onto the floor now. So if you want to bring yourself to sitting with your legs out in front. So we've just done a little bit of moving around. We're going to do a similar movement now. So you're going to take hold of one leg with the opposite hand, extend the leg away. Hand comes onto the floor just gently so that we're holding ourselves up with our body. This front knee can be very bent, or it can be on the floor if you would like. And then bring yourself back in. And we're going to come to the opposite side. So leg is extending out. We spiral round towards the front thigh. Free hand can come onto the floor if you would like. And then bring yourself back to the centre. Fold forwards for a moment. And then come back up. So a nice little bit of wakening up for us today. We're going to do a little bit of breathing now. It feels like quite a kind of busy, active feeling today. Well, go with it, eh? So what we're going to do is we're just going to get the feeling of the breath coming up, filling into the body as we inhale, breathing out that sinking, widening, spreading. So that inhale as it comes up fills into the lungs all the way up to the collarbones. And then out. And one last time. So my challenge for you today it is raining here, and my challenge to you, I'm aware you might have very, very different weather from me, but my challenge really is to celebrate things that sometimes we don't want to celebrate. So I'm kind of quite keen, quite like sun and sunshine. And so I have a mild aversion to rain, even though it's ridiculously helpful. So my challenge is to embrace that and really celebrate the quality of rain and all the good things that it brings. So for you, it might be that you don't like it if people drop by unexpectedly. So that might be your challenge today, that somebody drops by unexpectedly, you go, oh, wasn't planning that. And then you go, oh no, this is great because... or it could be you don't like it when there's friction or disagreements, but somehow you find a way to celebrate, well, what are the positive aspects of that? How can you take that into something that's really beneficial, and that you can, oh yeah, there's a movement, there's a experience, there's a presence that is really great for me. This thing that I normally might mildly avoid or grudge in some ways. And my quote for you today, it's on my screen, so I'm just going to do this to get it open. I love this quote. I can't tell you who it's by because I'm not very good at reading how the person's name is, but I'll give it a go. Sadi of Shiraz. Shiraz I can do. When you were born, everyone was smiling, but you were crying. Live in such a way that when you depart, everyone is weeping, and you are smiling. When you were born, everyone was smiling, but you were crying. Live your life in such a way that when you depart, everyone is weeping, but you are smiling. I'm kind of hoping that if people need to have a weep when I die, they do, but actually that they might get that it's okay. So maybe they're not going to be weeping. I'm kind of okay with that. Right, I'm going to love you and leave you. I hope you have a super day. hope you take your yoga through your life and into your daily moments so that they become richer, quieter, more alive, all these things, whatever it is that you need. And yeah, that's all for me. Thank you.